Namami Shankaracharya Gurupada Saroruham Yasya Prasadan Modhopi Sarvajnoho Sadabhavam Kamakshi Karunarupam Kamakoti Jagadgurum Chinmurtin Kalajaya Chitte Shankaracharya Mapyajam Bhaktagri Sambhuta Shankararnava Gamini Puratu Bhavanam Punya Shri Guru Sharitapaka Veda Vedanta Samradya Dharma Kamartha Mokshanam Vidyaranyan Numah Punyan Jo Vidyaranyam Adhyanat Sadashiva Shri Brahmendra Dhrata Swapata Padukan Dhiran Parashivendradyan Dhyayami Satatam Hridi Deve Dehecha Deshecha Bhaktyarukya Sukhapradam Udha Pamara Sevyantam Shri Jayendran Namamyaham Namama Shankaran Vakhyam Jayendra Saraswati Shri Gurum Shishtamarganu Netaram Sarmati Pratam Satya Narayana Kshetrat Satyavratam Upagatam Ashraye Kamakotisham Satya Shri Chandrashekharam Sadashiva Samarambhavam Shankaracharya Madhyavam Aspadacharya Parjantam Mande Guru Parampara. Last year was the year in which Sri Shankara Bhagavatpāda's 2500th Aradhana was conducted, and after that, our Shri Kanchi Kamakoti Molamna Sarvagya Peethadipati Jagadguru Shri Shankara Vijayam Saraswati Shankaracharya Swamigal performed Abhisheka to Ramanatha Swami with his own hands and thereby completed his Tirtha Yatra. Starting from that auspicious occasion with the prarthana of doing Anusandhana of all the original Shankara Vijaya texts, we have started this prayatna, and right now we are examining the Anandagiriya Shankara Vijaya, which was composed by one Anandagiri, a direct disciple of Shri Bhagavatpāda Acharya. And in this 35th session, we are about to examine the 55th prakarana of this text. Earlier, Shri Anandagiri has described in much detail the debates that Bhagavatpāda had with the followers of various matas, and how Bhagavatpāda corrected them by showing them the correct interpretation of the Vedas and the correct Vaidika Dharma. And it is only since the previous session, the previous few prakaranas, that the story, in the sense of apart from the Vada Vivadas, the Charitra continues. And mainly what was described immediately in the previous session was the darshana of Vyasacharya that Bhagavatpāda got at Kashi Kshetra, where Bhagavatpāda debated with him. Earlier he came in the form of a Vriddha Brahmana, and later on Bhagavatpāda, when he gave darshanas in his own form, and also blessed Bhagavatpāda with further years of age, advising Bhagavatpāda that Bhagavatpāda himself should put effort into prachara of the bhashya which he had composed. And right now, in this prakarana, we will be looking at a few very important events in Bhagavatpāda's life. And right now, we can remember that Acharya had the discussion with Vyasacharya at Kashi, and from there, the story starts right now. Tasmad udang margam avalambya yoga vidya prapta viyat patha sancharaha. Taking a northern path from there, through yoga vidya, through his yoga shakti, Bhagavatpāda took up. He actually, Bhagavatpāda would definitely gone up to the mountainous areas, and after one particular place, Bhagavatpāda took to the skies through his yoga shakti by Akasha Marga, and he went to Kailasa Parvata, and not only the physical Kailasa Parvata, but to the Sukshma Loka, where Samba Parameshwara resides. Parvati Parameshwaram, Parvati Sametam Parameshwaram Pranamya Swatmataya Anusandhana Shilasya Paramaguroho Agrataha Parameshwaraha Panchasphatika Lingari Prakashayamasa. So, a very important word is used here, Swatmataya Anusandhana Shilasya. So, in the case of any upasana, actually, it is said that a very high form of upasana, in fact, a very powerful form of upasana, is for the bhakta for the upasaka to realize or do anusandhana that he and the devata are actually one and the same. Anyosa vanyoham asmiti nasa veda. So, because after all, even every jiva who is an upasaka is actually an amsha of Parameshwara, or in fact, the Chaitanya within Parameshwara and the Chaitanya within Jivas is one and the same. That is what our Paramasiddhanta says. In which case, any Upasaka is entitled to meditate upon Parameshwara as not different from himself. But obviously, in the case of Shankara Bhagavatpāda, who is in fact an incarnation of Shri Parameshwara, there is no doubt that Bhagavatpāda would meditate upon Swami as his own self. Swatmataya anusandhanashilasya paramaguroho agrataha Parameshwara manifested 5 Spatika lingas in front of Bhagavatpāda. So there is another Charitra Grantha called Shivarahasya, which is a Maha Itihasa. It is not just I am adding that adjective Maha, but it is actually in tradition. It is said Shivarahasya Mahe Itihase, a great Charitra Grantha, in which in the 9th Amsha, in the 16th Adhyaya, Shri Shankara Bhagavatpāda's Charitra is said, saying Kalyadime Mahadevi Sahasra Dvitayat Param, 2000 and odd years after the beginning of Kali Yuga, Shri Bhagavatpāda Bhavishyati Mahaprajnaha Shankarakhyo Dvijottamaha, Swami himself says the story, and that he will be born as an Amshavatara as Shri Shankara Bhagavatpāda. And in that prakarana, actually it is said that after Vyasa Darshana, Parameshwara gave the darshana to Bhagavatpāda at Kashi itself, and Parameshwara says, Tvadarthe Kailasa Chala Supali Gata Maha Samudyat Chandrabham Spatika Dhavalam Linga Kulakam Savanitam Somodyata Vimala Mauli Archaya Param Kalau Lingarchayam Bhavatihi Vimukti Paratara. So Bhagavan Parameshwara tells Bhagavatpāda, for you I have brought these 5 lingas. So the word Kulaka itself, it is used to refer to a group of 5. So we even have Shloka Kulakas. And here it refers to 5 Shivalingas which were brought by Parameshwara to give to Bhagavatpāda. So here in the Anandagiriya Shankara Vijaya, and likewise there in Shivarahasya, and yet another text called Markandeya Samhita, which also gives many details about Bhagavatpāda Charitra. It is very clearly said that Bhagavan gave 5 Shivalingas to Bhagavatpāda. So, and later on, details on where those Shivalingas were established are also given in quite much detail in the Markandeya Samhita. Markandeya Samhita adopts a different approach to Bhagavatpāda's Charitra. It doesn't really go step by step in the Charitra order, but various aspects of Bhagavatpāda's Charitra, even though they occurred at various points of time, they are collated and given together in Markandeya Samhita. So, very clearly, the 5 lingas are mentioned here, and Swami himself says these Shivalingas are bright and white like the Chandra who rises on the limb of the mountains that you see in this Kailasa Parvata. And the name of these lingas is Chandramaulishwara, Soma Udyata Vimala Mauli. And Parameshwara enjoins upon Bhagavatpāda to perform Archana to these Shivalingas to ensure that the Archana is continuously performed, because Swami says, Kalau Lingarchayam Bhavatihi Vimukti Paratara. Through Shivalinga Archana, the greatest moksha even can be obtained. Not only to mention of worldly achievements, because again in the same Shivarahasya, Swami says, Trivaram Savadhanena Gacha Sarva Jaya, perform thrice Shivalinga Puja and go and attain, be victorious everywhere. That is what Swami says to Bhagavatpāda. So Bhagavatpāda received those, and here it is actually says Prakashayamasa, not just he gave, but he manifested them in front of Bhagavatpāda. Jagad Anugrahaya Ambikastava Sarena Saha Tan Yadaya. So this word Jagad Anugrahaya can be connected with the previous text also and the forthcoming text also. That is for the Pancha Spatikalingas for the Anugraha of the world, and Ambikastava Sarena, what we call Saundarya Lahari. In Markandeya Samhita, it is referred to as Putyai Saundarya Saram Himagiri Duhituhu Prapayan Gamayasi. So that Saundarya Lahari It also not only is it a description of the flood of the waves of the beauty of the Bhagavati, but which the meditation of which itself is a great yoga, and it gives chitta shuddhi and many blessings. But also it is also a mantra shastra, and the purasharana of the shlokas also gives various mangalas, desired sat phalas related to worldly life also. So that is why it is a Jagad Anugrahaya Ambika Stavasarena Saha Tan Yada. So having received that Saundara Lahari along with the Shivalingas, Punaha Avani Talama Asadya Kedar Kshetre. So that Markandeya Samhita goes further to give details on which linga is established where. Actually, the names regarding the names of these lingas, there are some variations, minor variations. Patha Vedas are there. In the last shloka of the Shiva Rahasya itself, it reads Tad Yoga Bhoga Vara Siddhi Vibhukti Nama Lingarchanadhigata Dig Vijayaha Prakamam Sarvagya Peetham Adhiruhya Vijitya Mishran Kanchyam Shive Tava Puras Sacha Siddhi Mapa. So, of these, the Yoga Linga, Bhoga Linga, Varalinga, Siddhi Linga, and Mukti Linga. So, here it is in this text, it is given as the Mukti Linga was established at Kedara Kshetra, but regarding by examining various other pramanas, we come to know that the name of the Kedara Pratisthapita Linga was Varalinga, and Puja Pratisthapya Tat Kshetra Pujakan Pujartham Niyojayamasa. Bhagavatpada appointed and gave instructions to the Pujakas there in that Kshetra, that Kedara Kshetra, to do puja to this Varalinga. And because of the fierceness of the natural situation there high up in the mountains, that linga seems to have been lost, because of which our Sri Kanchi Kamakoti Pitha Dviti Jagadguru Sri Jayendra Saraswati Shankaracharya Swamigal later on established yet another linga for in remembrance of the earlier linga established by Bhagavatpāda. And Tataha Kurukshetra Marga. So Kurukshetra is actually in the plains. So from there, it doesn't seem, because of the further text, it doesn't seem as if Bhagavatpāda actually visited Kurukshetra at this point of time. But in the path of, he took the path leading to Kurukshetra, and he came to Badri Narayana. But it is also possible that this Kurukshetra and later another place called Dwaraka, they might be smaller places in the mountainous areas itself, which are named after the bigger kshetras, bigger in the sense more widely known kshetras, because high up in the mountains, not many people will be able to come. So it is possible that those kshetras are mentioned here, because it is very clear that Bhagavatpāda Badari Narayana Darshanam Kritva Tatra Himavat Sannidhyat Shitodaka Snanasya Atitussahatva. So, after having darshan of Badari Narayana, he saw, because even in earlier Prakaras it was described how Bhagavatpāda was traveling with a great parivara of thousands of people. So, even though Bhagavatpāda is a great Yogeshwara, and obviously that is how he was able to go directly to Kailasa Parvata and have darshan of Parameshwara. But obviously, not all the Parivara Janas would be such so capable. And in fact, even regarding the senior Shishyas of Bhagavatpāda, like Padmapadacharya, there is no specific mention. So far, we have not seen any specific mention that they accompanied Bhagavatpāda. It might be there in some other texts, but we have not seen so far. It is only seen that Bhagavatpāda had darshan of Parameshwara at Kailasa. And from there, he obviously came back to the mountainous areas. And from where he went to Badrinath. So he prays. Why I am saying this, having such yoga shakti, it would not be a difficulty for Bhagavatpāda to have snana in cold water. But obviously, not everybody is capable of that. And if the parivaras, their health is affected, then it would be difficult for them. So, because Bhagavan is referred to as having a vatsalya greater than that of a mother. Likewise, this Bhagavatpāda is taking care of his parivara janas. So he goes to Bhagavan Narayana, Badari Narayana, and he prays to the god saying, the Lord asking, Bho Narayana, Bhahyam Ushnodakam Snararthan Dehi. So he calls Bhagavan and asks him, give me hot water for bathing. Sato Narayana Swapitha Adhav Pradeshat Ushnajala Saritam Utpadayamasa. So then a hot water stream sprung up from below the Pitha of Badari Narayana Swami. Sarve Snatva Shri Shankaracharyam Tushtavu. So everybody, just we can imagine how it would be for all those people who were in the cold to come and have bath in hot water because of which was produced by Bhagavatpada's Prarthana. Tasmat Dwara. So from so they all praised and bowed to Bhagavatpada. Tasmat Dwarakadi Divyasthala Vilokana Vashat Pradakshinyana Nilakantha Kshetram Prapya. So again, Bhagavatpada took a Pradakshina route. So obviously it refers to a route which is still in the mountains only. Bhagavatpada had darsana of various such kshetras there, and he came to Nilakantha Kshetra, which is in Nepal. Prapya Nilakanteshwaram Natva Tatra Shishyehi Pujyamanaha Paramaguruhu Nilakanthe Vareshwaram, as we mentioned earlier. Varanavakam Lingam Pratisthapya. So he established Varalinga at Nilakantha Kshetra. Tatra Sthan Pujartham Niyujya Tataha Kramad Ayodhyam Avapa. So he has descended from the mountains and come to Ayodhya. And we can remember that already he went northwards from Kashi only. And now he has come back to Ayodhya. And from Ayodhya he directly proceeds to Gaya. Tasmat Purat Gayayam Ishanadi Darsanam Kritva. Gaya Gadadhara. But here it is mentioned as Ishana. And he had darsana of the kshetras there. And within this next few words, the Anandagiriya Acharya gives a very, very fast description of a long distance of Bhagavatpada traveling. Jagannatha Margat Sri Shaila Parvatam Prapa. So after Gaya, immediately he mentions Jagannatha Kshetra, which is in Utkala, which is Urisha. And from there to the northern part of Andhra Pradesh, where Sri Shaila is there. Tatra Mahadevam Mallikarjuna Namanam Tat Shaktim Advaitartha Rupanim Brahmarambam Natva. So he bowed to Mahadeva Bhagavan Parameshwara by the name of Mallikarjuna and his Shakti Advaitartha Rupanim Brahmarambam. So is the Ananda Shakti, Ananda Jagatratum Shambhor Jayati Karuna Kachid Aruna. So the Saundaralahari which was mentioned, it is the Karuna of the Parameshwara which is there in the form of the Devi. And here, Brahma Vidya Swarupini, this description of Amba is given by Bhagavatpada elsewhere in his Bhashya also. And Tatshaktim Advaita Artha Rupini. She is the Advaita Purushartha. She is of that form, that Brahmaramba Devi. And Bhagavatpada stayed there for a month. At that time, Paramaguru, the Tatra Masam Sthide Paramaguru, Rudrakhya Purat, Brahmana Samagamya, Paramagurum Idamochoho. So this Rudrapattana seems to be in a place somewhere towards north of Sri Shaila, because further north, Bhagavatpada will be going to Prayagaraja, that we can see. So the people from the Rudrapattana, they come to Bhagavatpada and they say, Swamin Bhattacharyakyo Dvijavarah Kaschit Udagdeshat Samagatya. So one person by name of Kumarala Bhatta, here it is mentioned only as Bhattacharya. He came to our place from Udagdesha, from a northern land, and in our area lots of Bauddhas and Jainas. See, Bauddhas and Jainas, there would be people who are following, who are sattvika and who are just doing meditation and so on. But it is very clear from history that a lot of Bauddhas and Jainas were very, very sharp and acting to destabilize the Vedika Mata. They were acting against Vedika Mata, and it was necessary for that is why it is called Dushta Mata Avalambinaha, when somebody attacks the Vedika Mata. And this Bhattacharya has taken it upon himself as a vrata to defeat these Bauddhas and Jainas, Bauddha and Jaina and Asankhyan, Aneka Vidya Prasanga Prabhedir Nirjitya. So he calls them to debate and he wins over them. He asks them to present their arguments and he refutes, destroys, demolishes all those arguments. And thus, Ityevam Dushtamana Dhamsana Majaran Nirbhayo Vrati. He is totally fearless That is the description given to about Kumarala Bhatta to Bhagavatpada. Srutvaita Adbhutam Karma Guru Shishya Samanvitaha Prapto Rudrakhya Nagaram Jayasharam Vijrambhitam. Actually, the Charitra in various other texts says that when Parameshwara came to establish the Advaita Vidya, but first it is necessary that we have mentioned also in the previous paragraphs very clear that Bhagavad keeps saying Advaita is the Parama Siddhanta, but what we have to do today is do the Panchayatana Upasana, and along with that to perform the Varnashrama Swadharma, Sanatana Dharma, the Anushtanas. That is what is important today. So that Bhagavatpada told, it is said that Parameshwara, before taking Avatara, he instructed Subramanya Swami to go to the Bhuloka, Pradidishya Guham Puraiva Gantum Pradibandhuncha Makhan Dvishascha Yantum. So to re-establish the practice of the Vedika Karmanushtanas and to control those who hate the Vedika Dharma. So that Kumara Swami, Subramanya Swami has come in the form of Kumarala Bhatta, is the Charitra. So Bhagavatpada, he takes along with his Shishyas, he wants to see this Bhattacharya, so he comes to that Rudrapattara and he is welcomed with Jaya Ghoshas by the people there. But then he hears that Tatra Diradashakat Purvakale Bhattacharya Kila Sarva Vipakshadhvamsam Kritva. So about 10 days back, before Bhagavatpada arrived there, this Bhattacharya had completed his Dhamsa, his demolishing all the Vipakshas, the opponents, and then he has taken up a Prayashchita. Why? Because what he had done, and this is not mentioned here, but it is learned from other texts, that he wanted to learn the Jaina Vadas, the Bauddha Vadas in full, because they might not reveal all the details outside. So he took up the guise of a Jaina Bauddha and he took even their external Beshas, and he entered the Jaina Bauddha Padashala and he stayed there as one of them, and because he was so keen on, because he was so internally enraged by the way that these people were doing Dushana of our Vaidika Mata. So he wanted to once and for all demolish these Jaina Bauddha Matas, or at least those aspects of those Matas which were acting against the Vaidika Mata. So he wanted to know their full yuktis, based on which he could give them suitable reply to refute them and demolish them. So he stayed there, and the Jaina Guru, Bauddha Guru, whoever took care, who taught him there, he felt, even though it was an Vedika Darshana, even though that Vidya was a very, it was, in fact, it might even be called a, it was definitely an Avedika Vidya, but that Vidya, that Guru, that Vidya Guru, not only a Vidya Guru, but an Avedika Vidya Guru, even then he taught me something. So I have acted against him. So I have to do Prayashchitta for this. So this is the extent to which his faith in Dharma. So that Dharma which I am teaching everybody and I am working to re-establish, if I myself don't follow that Dharma, then what is the meaning? Is what Kumarala Bhatta thinks. So actually in Kali Yuga it is said that such Ugra Dharma Sahasas should not be taken up, because people normally they neither have the power to follow those things nor to properly understand those things. But nevertheless, when he is an avatar of Subramanya Swami, so he wants to establish in a very strong form. So he Vicharya Prayashchittam Vicharya Ashtottara Jhulika Pramanopatyaka Karishopari. So he comes to know that there is a pramana, a measure called Jhulika. It is not clear what this pramana is, but Upatyaka Karishopari. Karisha refers to the cow dung cakes which are used to do havan. And even in Ramayana, Bhagavan Sri Rama tells Lakshmana, Bhumobasya Karishanam Bhatas Sanchayan Kratan Rishibhish Shaitya Karanat. So to rid oneself of cold, the Maharshis have created lots of huge what shall I say, collected in large numbers in a big pile. These karishas, karisha refers to the cow dung, the cakes. So that is so that has been built up as if it is an upatyaka. Upatyaka actually refers to the side of a mountain. So it is as if the Karisha has been built up as if it is a mountain, and on top and that to that Karisha Parvata, Homagdina Paritah Kramad Dagdhena. So some havana has to be performed, and that fire, through using that fire, this pile of Karisha has to be lit, and in that one has to live there, stay there, and be burnt by that Agni, and thereby do pranatyaga. And that is the prayaschitta for Gurudroha. This is the prayaschitta, which is a very ugra prayaschitta, no doubt, which was determined by Kumarala Bhatta for himself. And there, Vijana Pradeshe Tatha Karayitva. So from other pramanas, Shritamurmuram Uddharam Trivenyam. So it is known that where this happened was at Triveni Kshetra. And our Jagadguru Shri Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Shri Charana, he instructed his Shishya Jagadguru Shri Jayendra Saraswati Shri Charana to establish a mandira there at Prayagaraja Kshetra in such a way to commemorate this event of the panels are there which show how Kumarala Bhatta gave his life for the preservation of the dharma and did this Agni Prayaschitta, and Bhagavatpāda visited him. The panels are there commemorating that, and the Jagadguru had specifically instructed that a Sahasralinga should be established there, and along with that Ambika Devi and Mahavishnu also in Vimana Mantapa. That mantapa should be such that whenever somebody takes bath at the Sangama, and from the Sangama, if they look to this side, they should be able to view that Gopara. So along with the Koti Punya of the Sangama Snana, they should also receive the Koti Punya of the Gopara Darsana. Gopara Darsanam Koti Punyam. So with this, the Jagadguru had created that memorial, and because of that we know and that the place was this Prayagaraja. And even then, Prayagaraja, lots of people would no doubt be coming to take Vad Punyasthana, and to avoid giving trouble to them, Vijana Pradesha, an area of that Sangama, which was not where many people were not there, Tatha Karayitva Tatra Krita Prayaschitta Dikshaha Karisha Parvatagravasi Samavartata. So that was the way he was at the top of that Karisha Parvata. That is how Bhagavatpāda saw him. Tadanim Paramaguruhu Bhattacharyam Iksha Idamaha Ajnanena Katham Prapta Hyavastha Bhavatadduja Idrishan Mudha Gudharthan Navetsi Nigamanyataha. How come, oh, a scholar, as if you do not know the real meaning of the Vedas, why are you taking up this avastha, this very painful prayaschitta? Do you not know the inner meaning of the Veda? And hantachen manyate hantum hataschen manyate hatam ubhautona vijanito nayam hantina hanyate. This is the Kathopanishad says that this soul is beyond this physical body, in which case who is the one who kills and is killed? So do you not understand these tattvarthas? Ityuktaha janumatra dagdhopi bhattacharyaha paramaguru idamaha. At this point, it might seem what Bhagavatpāda has spoken to him is not really an appropriate for this particular occasion. But then, and Bhattacharya also responds, if we can imagine, he was in a very, very ugra state when he attacked or demolished all the Jaina Bauddha Vadas, and he is also has taken up the sankalpa for doing prayaschitta for himself. All these are very ugra pratignyas, ugra sankalpas. So the response of Kumarala Bhatta is also somewhat ugra. It is not very friendly. But Bhattacharya Paramagurum idamuvacha Jagrit kale anagataha bauddhataraha kasmadihagatya tapayasi. So Jagrit kala means, not here waking state, obviously means at the point of time when I was very active. You seem to be one step above a Bauddha. How come you have come here and you are giving me a tapa? We can just imagine. Actually, he was at the top of a Karisha Parvata which was burning, and we very well know that at Prayagraj, at the Sangama, the air breeze is very, very strong, and we can imagine what kind of a heat would be there because of the burning, and it is possible that the smoke also was not allowing Kumarada Bhatta to see clearly. He asked, "Who is this Buddha who has come when I was not, who has not come when I was active? And why are you giving me tapa here?" So even beyond the tapa of the physical tapa of this fire, the tapa which is caused by somebody who is coming and talking some Avaidika. So Kumarala Bhattacharya has been seemed to have taken that the quotation is being in an inappropriate manner. This Upanishad Vakya should not be used to counter a prayaschitta which is given by Dharma Shastra, which is a very important point. So we can't talk Vedanta and say that it is not necessary to do prayashchittas because Atma is beyond all these things. So that is why Kumarala Bhatta has got angry. Then Paramaguru, but Paramaguru Acharya Bhagavatpāda replies quite specifically. He says, "Naham Bauddha, kintu Shankaracharya Shuddha Advaita Marga Dhata Prasangartham Ihagatosmi." I am not a Bauddha, I am known as Shankaracharya. I give Shuddha Advaita Marga. The word is very significant here. So it is not just he follows Advaita Marga, he gives Advaita, and it has a significance we'll be seeing shortly. I came here to debate with you. Idam vachanam nishamya punar bhattacharya praha tatha chet udagdesheshu madbhagini bharta mandala mishraha sarvagyaiva sakala vidyasu pitamahaiva vartate. So northwards from here, my sister's husband by name Mandala Mishra, he knows everything, the Sarvagya Sakala Vidyasu Pitamaha Iva. He is as if he is Brahma. Actually, Mandala Mishra is an avatar of Brahma. All the became later on Sureshwaracharya, that we will see later on in another prakarana. So a person, such a scholar is there. Tena saha sakam bhavat vada khanduti nivrti paryantam prasanga kuru. If you are interested in all these itchings, the word is there. So he is replying in a very different state of mind. I can only imagine. If you have an itch to have all these debates, you go to this Mandara Mishra's place. He is my sister's husband. Later, in other texts, it is said that Mandara Mishra was Kumarala Bhatta's disciple, and it is quite possible that he gave his sister to his disciple. So anyway, he says, you go and have your debates with him. Aham karma vipaka dharma sutra baddha. So there is actually a text called Karma Vipaka, Maharnave Karma Vipake, which gives pariharas, saying that because of various papas in Purva Janmas, we are having such sufferings, to do parihara in this way. So here he uses the word in the sense of, I want to follow that this is the result of this papa, and I am bound by the Dharma Sutra Baddha. I am bound by the ropes of dharma. Idrigavasthaya paralokam yami. I will go to paraloka with all these suffering. But the next sentence is very significant. That is why I said data. He gives Advaita. Mama bhavat darshanam atiphaladam asid. Just by looking at you, I have received what I need to receive. I have received a great fruit. Ittukta nimilitakshaha. He closed his eyes. Sarvatmakam Brahmarudha Buddhirabhavat. So even without debate or without bodhana, by the anugraha, by his darshana matra, Bhagavatpāda has given Kumarala Bhattacharya that Advaita Jnana Brahmarudha Buddhihi. His mind got established in that Sarva Vyapaka Parabrahma Vastu. Tata Paramaguru Rupi, and obviously he left his physical body, and then Tatah Paramaguru Rapi Sarvajana Stujamana Vibhavaha. So everybody praised Bhagavatpāda for giving that Shanti at the last moment. He received that Punaha Bhattanam Prapya. So he came back because of hearing of Kumarala Bhatta's taking up Prayaschitta. He immediately came here, but he goes back to that Rudrapattana. Rudrakya Puravasinaha Sarvana Advaita Marga Ashtatam Shakara. So he does Advaita Bodhana to all the residents of that Rudrapattana. Anandagiri Gato Bhatta Darshanam Nama Panchasam Prakaranam. Thus ends the 55th Prakarana. And later on, the debate with Mandala Mishra and other such prasangas we will see in further sessions by the Anugraha of Bhagavatpāda. Sarvavyapaka Chaitanya Rupena Adhyapi Tishtati स एव शङ्कराचार्यो गुरुर्मुक्तिप्रदः सताम्. हर हर शङ्कर, जय जय शङ्कर.